Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Behind the Now. Today we're chatting with actor Jesse Posey, who currently plays Chris Pérez on the Netflix original series, Selena, the series. Listen in as we dive into all things acting, including Jesse's audition and preparation process leading up to the role of Chris Pérez. Also, get ready for the much anticipated part 2 of the series, which comes out May 14th. Jesse's authenticity, talent, and humanity transcends the screen, and I'm excited to share a conversation. So, I'd love to start with your process so far. Like, did you always want to be an actor? How did you get into acting? What's your journey been like so far?
Yes, that's kind of grown over time. My dad has always been in the movie and TV industry, or just the entertainment industry. Since he was in his early 20s, he started doing these like comedy routines on stage in
Very
Atlanta,
cool.
and it brought him out to LA when he was like around my age now. And so he's always been a working actor and writer. And when my brother and I were born, he got both of us into it. And somewhere around the age of 10 or 11, I wasn't really into it anymore. So I stopped. My brother kept going, and he's had a very successful career. But I would think about it a lot because both my brother and my dad have always been in this business, and so it's just looked cool. It looked like a fun.
It was something you used to.
Yeah.
Cool.
While I continued to do my thing, which was baseball, I always had it in the back of my mind. And when I stopped playing baseball at the age of 21, I got back into it. And luckily enough for me, my dad is an acting teacher. And so I go to classes as often as I wanted to and just kind of get better and learn more about it. And yeah, I think my situations are a little more unique because I have two guys I can look up to and I can always ask questions with. And since after being on this show Selena, I learned a lot about acting and how to get better and how to have fun with it, and it's really upped my passion for it.
Yeah. So did you have a moment then between stopping baseball and deciding to go into acting, or was it kind of like a natural thing, like, okay, now I'm going to do acting?
I think when I decided that I didn't love baseball anymore, since I've always had a passion in my life, I had to replace that passion.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I stopped being passionate about baseball, and I wasn't quite yet passionate about acting. But I just thought, you know what, I've done it before. I know how to do it. Why not just try to, go from this thing to this thing, just because it seems like the natural thing to do. And I wasn't passionate about it at first. That I had to build that over time, but yeah, it was kind of this weird, awkward place where I didn't really know where I was or what I was doing. So I was just kind of working jobs, but still acting, trying to replace one passion with the other.
Yeah, I always think sports and teams give you also a work ethic. Do you find that you applied it to acting? Like it was very translatable?
Yeah, totally. The work ethic and then the team thing. If you're on a sports team, it's a team. It's not like you're just there by yourself.
Right.
And then when you're on a TV or movie set, it's
the
a team.
Same thing, right?
It's not just the actors that are the teammates. It's like everyone else that's working on the set. You gotta all look out for each other. You gotta make sure that you're doing your part, they're doing their part, and so yeah, they're very, very relatable.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're both very collaborative. Yeah. So tell me a bit about your audition process. I don't know like the timeline of it, but of being cast as Chris in Selena, which is such an iconic, cool role.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, it was really weird. I got an audition for it. I didn't know too much about it. I read the breakdown, went to go audition for it. I thought it was okay. It was one of those auditions that was just like, all right, whatever. I did my thing. I walked out, didn't hear anything back for like 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And I got a call back, and they said, hey, yeah, you have a call back for Selena. And I was like, what's that?
Yeah, it seems to happen a lot, huh?
And between the first and the second one, I had, like 30 or 40 auditions in between.
Like, of the other projects, you mean, right?
Just for other things, just for whatever. And so I had completely forgotten about it. I had to go back and learn about it and see what it was all about. And then I went in, I read, and the producers were in the room, and I did one take. They asked me to do it a couple different ways, and and they liked what I did, and then they asked me if I could play music, and I said yes when I couldn't. I didn't know how to play guitar. So they asked me if I could send them in a video of me playing guitar and singing, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll have it in a couple days. And I was like, oh God, I gotta go learn how to play guitar now. And luckily, my brother's a very good guitar player, and so I like drove up to the street to his house, and I was like, dude, I gotta learn how to play guitar, or like just teach me a song for like a couple days, and so we did. We worked on a Green Day song.
Okay,
and
cool.
Days they sent it in, and they loved it, and then I still didn't hear back for like a month. And I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just going to forget about this thing.
Okay.
Because it was one of those things that I was like thinking about every day. Like, man, when am I going to hear about this?
Yeah.
And then yeah, I got the call one day just out of nowhere that I booked it.
Wow, amazing. So that initial audition, was that in person?
Yeah.
Okay, it was in person. Also, like, to what extent do you prepare for auditions? I know it's probably a range, but in terms of like everything, like wardrobe, being off book, just what's your kind of normal process?
Yeah, it starts out with just trying to get a feel of like the atmosphere of the scene, trying to like picture in my head how this would look if it was actually filmed, and you read the breakdown of the character, the other characters, you get a feeling for what's going on. You try to see if there's comedy in the scene, if it is a comedy, if this scene is a comedy but the show isn't a comedy, whatever. So you try to see what you can bring that's like different. And then I love just learning the lines first. I love getting to know the lines, and then I'll go and
play with it,
and I can't even do too much until like I learn the lines, and then I need to run the lines. Run the lines with somebody. And yeah. When it comes to wardrobe, I'll usually I don't know. I usually have something I can throw together, or I'll like text my agent and see what they think I should wear. But that is a kind of a big part of it. I do hear that like a lot of casting directors do want you to look the part. You know, you go in wearing something casual when it needs to be something.
Yeah, when it's something different.
Like different. Yeah. So I think that is an important part to the casting directors, and that's another thing. Like I've gotten to hear a lot from casting directors as to like what they want, because that's like one thing that really kind of like messes with your mind. When you don't know what they want.
Can.
You're nervous because you don't know if you're thinking so many different things. So it is good if anyone ever gets a chance to speak with a casting director and to hear their thoughts and like what they go through in the process. I think it's really important. That's one thing that I feel like could hold you back from doing your best.
Yeah. So what's your take on that though, in terms of those? So like in terms of those choices for wardrobe and.
Yeah, it's important. It's important to go in there confident. I mean, it's one of those things where like if you look good and feel good, then you'll play good. You know?
Yeah.
And you don't want to go into the room like not feeling 100%.
Right.
Or like not feeling 100% on the lines. You want to go in there just giving your best thing and not really worrying too much about. You shouldn't even be worrying about getting the job. That's not.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even be like the priority. It's just go in there, have fun,
live it out, do it.
Walk out feeling good, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I've felt like even if I did a bad job and I got the role, I still wouldn't feel okay about it. It's like, you just want to go in and do your best.
Yeah, that's great advice.
When it comes to like all the choices with wardrobe and everything, I don't know. Because I don't really like think about it too much. If you feel good in your wardrobe and you feel good about the lines and the character, then that should be enough.
And you just let it go. You follow your instincts with those choices, huh?
Yeah.
You learned guitar. You learned a song on guitar, and then you sent a tape of that song.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, in the show, were you really playing guitar, or how did it work?
Yeah. So we had a lot of performance scenes where we're up there on stage playing live. And of course, it wasn't all of us just playing together. We had the backtrack playing, but they would do a lot of close-ups, like on the drummer, on the bassist, on the guitar player, on the keyboardist, and our fingers would have to be in the right place, doing the right thing on the right tempo, right beat. And so we did learn every single song. We would have band rehearsals while
cool.
the song was playing, and our music teachers would like kind of watch us closely to make sure that we were doing it right. And there were times where we it was hard because you wanted to learn the songs and learn them right, but you also had to learn how to look like you were doing it professionally. You couldn't just sit there like
concentrating as if it's your first time.
It's just playing there because they're professionals at
Yeah.
it. So sometimes it was more about looking the part than actually playing it.
Right. Like the confidence that you would have. Yeah.
Make sure that you like just looked like confident and like it was easy flowing rather than like, fuck, am I doing this right? So yeah, it was both learning it and then learning how to make it look good.
And then Chris Pérez is a real person, and this whole story is real. It's a beautiful story. So how did you prepare? Was it different preparing for playing a real person? What was your preparation like that?
Yeah, I didn't really even like have time to think about it at that point.
Oh, okay.
So afterwards, like I haven't really gotten a chance to digest all of the show, but I guess it kind of was easier and more fun to play a real life person. There was a lot of footage on him from when he was the age that I was playing him at, and so I really got a good feel of who he was, his interests and his passions, and how much he loved Selena and how much he loved playing music. And he wrote a book too that was kind of dedicated to Selena, and it was about just their whole life and like everything that he experienced throughout the whole Selena era, and that was really insightful. So yeah, I had a lot to go off, and it was fun. It's cool to like watch a video of this dude talking and then go in the mirror and try to replicate it,
Yeah, it's amazing.
But then there was like, the directors and the producers all want you to portray a certain side of him. You kind of have to twist it around and just bring everything in and make your own thing, and then just be comfortable with it. I thought it was cool. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. To what extent did you develop the character of Chris with the director, the producer, with wardrobe? Was that like collaborative or not as much?
Not as much. Yeah, I pretty much had to do everything on my own. Yeah, and then there were times where I would like, it started to hit me that I was like going to be on a show, and I had to really do this the right way, and I would kind of freak out, and I would go to my dad and I would say, hey man, should we do something? Should we work on this? Should we try to develop this character? And he'd be like, yeah. Do a little bit, and he would say, yeah, you're fine, you're doing great. And I'd be like, am I? I don't do it. I've done this before. I have done a lot before. You do the acting classes and you're characters, and so if you don't, like if you there's a lot that you do as an actor before you get a role that kind of prepares you for it, and you don't even know it's preparing you for it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really develop it with the directors or the producers or anything. I just kind of showed up on set one day and did my thing, and luckily they liked it. And,
perfect.
Throughout you get a little bit of direction, you get this and that, but I think for the most part everything was kind of cool.
And then on set, were you guys very strict with sticking to the script, or was there room for improv, or was it kind of between that? How did it work?
They did want us to stick to the script, but no, there was a lot of times where I was very comfortable with Christian, the girl playing Selena, and very comfortable with Gabe, the dude who played A.B., her brother, and we all kind of developed this thing where like we just understood each other as actors, and we were able to kind of improv some stuff that made sense for the scene. And we would talk a lot about how to make the scene better, how to fill it in more, and after a while, the directors kind of like just trusted that we were able to do that, and they loved what we did. So we just found ourselves kind of improving a lot, or just tweaking things to make it better, make it sound more natural. So luckily they gave us a lot of freedom to do whatever we wanted.
That's awesome. And so was there a rehearsal process, or you kind of did your work individually and then just showed up to set and played with it?
Yeah, that's kind of what we did. We would. I know that right before the show started, they did a table read of the first episode that I wasn't involved in because I wasn't in the first episode.
Okay.
But I had heard that they were doing that, but when I got there, they weren't doing table reads anymore. But what we would do, we would kind of get like a 3-week block of all the scenes we were doing, or all the episodes and the scenes that we were doing, and so we knew what was coming up. But the night before a work day, they would send us a script of what we're going to do that next day. So you go in and you read it.
Okay, so it's pretty fresh.
If you have like big scenes with somebody, we would like call each other the night before and say, hey, let's kind of run this a little bit. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about blocking. And so by the time we get there, we're like prepared and ready to go. And like, because you don't want to waste anyone's time.
Yeah.
On set. There's not a whole lot of time in the day. Everyone's doing a lot of stuff, and so the most that you can do as an actor really helps out the whole rest of the set.
Sounds so much fun. It sounded great. Okay, awesome. You guys had a lot of your outfits closely resembled your outfits in history, it seemed like. Did you have a favorite outfit? Or anything? And also you had long hair in it, right? Was that your real hair or a wig?
No, that was a wig, but it would like start it back here and go down, and then they would use the front part of my hair. So it did look really real.
It did look very natural.
Anytime people would see me on set without the wig, they didn't know who I was because they all got so used to me. The wig was kind of intense for me. Because where we worked, we were working like on a coastline, on a beach area, and it was very all the time. My hair was always down, and it was always in my face, and I'm not used to long hair like that. But I didn't love it. And there's a point in the show where I do get my hair cut, and I love that a lot. But what did you something about the outfits?
Oh, did you have a favorite outfit or like anything in particular, or not really?
Yeah, there were. Yeah, I don't like a lot of our outfits were really like tight. Like,
okay.
Tight. I don't wear stuff like that. So
yeah.
I had a chance to like wear some cool loose leather pants, and like there were times where I'd wear a leather jacket, which was cool, or just a plain t-shirt. But I did. There was a performance where we all wore cow print.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I thought that was hilarious. Like I would never wear that in my regular life. I thought it was like one of the funniest things, just seeing everybody in the cow print. And tell me too that was their favorite outfits that we wore.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those are like all over on the pictures, and yeah, I love it. I think it really stands out. I thought it looked great. Yeah. That's based in history, right?
Yeah, all that was really
yeah, it looked like that. And then did you guys wrap filming before COVID hit, or how did that work?
We were so our series is a 2-part series, season 1 and season 2. Season 2 is coming out in May. We were like a week or 2 away from being done with season 1, and then we got shut down for COVID.
Oh gosh.
And that was in March, and then we came home for about 4 or 5 months. We were kind of unsure if we were going to go back at all. And then we did. We went back in August, September, and then wrapped everything in November.
Okay, and then it came out December, right? Oh, so that's pretty quick.
Yeah, it was cool. But it was just the whole second part with COVID was just insane. Like, because it was all COVID protocol. We were getting tested 3 times a week. We couldn't interact with people. We couldn't go out. We couldn't leave our little places where we were living. So it was weird at first. It was uncomfortable, but I don't know. After a while, we all kind of like, I think it made us focus more, more energy.
Okay.
We were working, then going home, working, going home. We weren't going out and kind of hanging out, staying up late. We got closer to each other. Yeah, the COVID was kind of sucked, but I think it did a lot of good for our show.
Oh, nice.
Together, it made us focus more on the material, and made it, and it also like we were all like super grateful to be back at work.
Yeah, I'm sure that must feel very good.
We worked really hard to make sure that we like produce a good product.
Yeah. So in that time off from COVID, were you still were you still working on Chris, or kind of were you just relaxed and gonna see what happens?
No, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't really.
Okay, cool.
I would read scripts. I would keep practicing guitar, but I kind of just let it go. I knew that I would come back.
Yeah, it's in you, right? You're just okay. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna ask you a few little fun questions.
Cool.
Okay. Are you a big user of emojis in texting?
Emojis. I think I have. I think I have been lately.
Lately. So what would you say is your most used emoji?
My most used one. I use that goose a lot. I don't know why. I just kind of like if I
okay.
the goose, the duck.
So like the actual animal, right? Not a face. Okay.
Yeah, I use the goose. I use a lot of hearts.
Okay. Cool.
And then I just found this new one of it's one of the yellow faces, and he's wearing like the glasses with the mustache disguise.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
But I don't know. I haven't always been into emojis. I usually just send little like the old school smiley faces.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Like with the punctuation.
The punctuation, yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then what has been your like funniest or most embarrassing or worst audition? Do you have a story like that? Or not so much?
Oh man, embarrassing.
It doesn't have to be embarrassing, or just like.
I'm sure I do. Or one of the worst ones, yeah. My worst, the time I felt so horrible about an audition. I showed up. My audition time was at like 2, and I showed up at like 1, I think. And I went, and you had to put your name and time into this computer. And no one was there. I was the first one there, and I was really prepared for it. And I'm sitting there, and like someone else goes, and then like people start coming in. They start going before me because I guess their times were earlier. Like it was my fault. I should have just showed up when I should have showed up. But I literally sat there and waited for an hour, and I think I got a ticket on my car. And I was so pissed off that when I went into the room, I forgot all my lines. There was a moment where I was just standing there staring at them. They were staring at me. And all I wanted to say was, like, you guys made me wait out there for an hour and a half. You let all these people come in, and I was just, like, so out of my mind. I think I did the audition, but I left so pissed off. But that was a lesson learned that if your time is for a certain time, don't show up earlier, don't show up later, just show up on time, and that won't happen.
The car thing is stressful. I've definitely had where I've parked and I'm wondering, like, looking out the window and trying to, like, assess if I should go feed the meter. Oh, my goodness.
I feel like you should just Uber to auditions now so you don't have to worry.
Yeah, that's honestly ideal. A lot of people do that, I think. And then this podcast is called Behind the Now, but I think it's always important to be in the now. Is there anything that you do that helps you be the now?
So I for a while got into like meditating and doing yoga, and that certainly will get you into like living in the moment. But one cool thing, I don't do much anymore. I should, but one cool thing that it teaches you to do is it teaches you to like find times in the day to live in the moment. And though I don't like actively do that anymore, I'll have moments in my life where I'm having a good time, or if I'm spending quality time with like people that mean a lot to me, it'll just kind of hit me that I'm like, yo, I'm here right now. I'm spending some good time with good friends, and this is one of those moments. This is one of those moments I can just capture and like kind of hold on to and live in. But it took me doing like a lot of meditation and stuff to like understand.
To have that awareness.
So I think even if you don't meditate every day or for the rest of your life, I think just giving it a shot, it'll teach you a lot of cool things about how to like appreciate your life more and appreciate.
And especially in acting, we always have to be present and in the moment. So it's kind of like the second you can control that.
Acting really did teach me that too. Just because you don't want to. It's weird when you're acting. You don't want to be acting. You kind of want
to be. You just want to be.
Be there. Be like. Have it be like a real life conversation. So that's another thing that teaches me how to.
Yeah. You know. Thank you so much, Jesse. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me on. That was a lot of fun.